Welcome to the Deskbound Athletic Project. I'm seriously honored that you're here, and I want to start by saying this. If you've been stuck in a cycle of stiffness, joint pain, and frustration from sitting too much, trying to train like you used to, but your body keeps holding you back, then I see you, I've been there, and I want you to know that you are not broken. You're just in the right place at the right time to do something about it. This is your first step in reclaiming your athletic potential, moving with confidence again, and finally getting back to doing the things you love with a body you can trust. And I'm here to be your guide the whole way. By now, you should have access to everything inside of EverFit. This is where your daily programming, coaching feedback, videos, and communication is going to happen. You should have gone through the welcome packet and filled out your onboarding form so I can get the clearest picture of your goals, limitations, and training history. So what this video covers, this video is going to walk you through some of the key training principles I use to set this program apart. If you've tried physical therapy, cookie cutter fitness plans, or YouTube rehab tips before, this is going to feel very different, right? We're going to cover how to train without pain, how to scale movement safely through regressions, how to push intensity the right way, even if you're coming off of injuries, feel out of shape, or you're sitting down at an office all day. And most importantly, how to reclaim control over your body and your progress. So our number one principle is never train through pain. This is the golden rule. Yes, push your limits, but not into sharp pain, joint discomfort, or anything that feels sketchy. Pain is information. It's not a challenge to push through. It's a signal to adjust, regress, and work smarter. Discomfort is your body adapting, rebuilding, and reconnecting with the muscles that you haven't felt in years. But pain, that's the line in the sand that we're not trying to cross, right? You'll be taking 2 steps back and 1 step forward. You're not going to get very far if you do that. So use the pain as a threshold. Use the pain threshold as a guide for how hard to push yourself. Now we're going to get into that into detail, right? So what is pain in training? Pain is a signal from our nervous system that something may be very wrong. I like to refer to it as an internal check engine light. So it's highly subjective. So we have to differentiate what's acceptable and what's not. So good pain is going to be something like a muscle burn, like you're tired, fatigued. The muscles are feeling pumped. Sometimes the joint can feel a little bit tight. This is discomfort from new movements, and this is pretty normal. In general, it's okay. But bad pain is going to be something that's sharp, pinching, stabbing, almost like electricity or shock running through your body, shooting. This is sudden and very significant. So you intuitively you'll know that something feels like it might tear or snap. Right? The no pain, no gain philosophy is bullshit when it comes to joints. Not something that we want to push through. Of course, when it comes to like a muscle burn, yeah, you could always push yourself a little bit harder, right? So we just want to make that differentiation because pain-free sets the gains free. It's kind of corny, but when you look at it this way, pain equals destruction of the body, right? It decreases muscle activation because your body wants to protect itself from further damage. So pushing through pain can lead to decreased performance, increased risk of injury. If you are in this chat, you're probably very familiar with it because it slows down your injury healing, slows down the strength gain, slows down the muscle gain. So these are all things that we want to avoid in order to get the most gains, to get the most adaptation out of our mobility work, as well as building muscle, all these different things that are going to lead us to our goal destination of being able to play sports, being able to do the things you love, muscle, getting stronger, getting more flexible is never a bad thing in that case. So the pain scale that we're going to use, one would be not having it in much pain at all, or a tiny hint that pain might come in the future. A positive feeling of tension would be number 2. It's no pain, but if you keep going, doing a ton of reps, there's a chance that it might come. Slight pain feels like it might help, doesn't feel like it will cause lasting soreness, but you can't really tolerate a lot more volume. So this is about as far as we want to take it. You might not have any desire to stop, but generally, even if you have slight pain, I'd prefer if you regress some of the exercises. Number 4 would be significant pain, where there's damage being done and may cause a little bit of swelling or lasting pain. We never want to work at that point because too much of this is going to lead us to set us back in your goals, right? This is desire to stop the activity, subtle changes in movement, so you're almost like trying to shift the form. That's how you know that you're doing too much. Painful would be something that's doing damage, causes inflammation, impairs movement patterns, or impairs the muscles firing. these two are the ones that we never really want to get to. So how to train pain-free. So here's some good tips. Really, it's intuitively, it's learn to listen to your body. You don't have to be hyperactive about every little thing, but you also shouldn't ignore the pain. If pain is above a 2 on a scale of 1 to 5, you need to choose a regression of the exercise for that exercise. You need to communicate with your trainer, and you want to do this. You want to focus on perfect form. Any repetitions that deviate from good form shouldn't be counted unless it's a competition lift. And in that case, you never even want to train to have to do that in competition. Training is training, and the goal is always to maintain the technique that we want to be able to repeat. All the movements are potentially harmful if you execute them poorly and with poor load selection. So meaning we use too much weight or weight that we can't handle with good form. So what to do if something hurts? Where possible, stop hurting it. Not something we want to push through. You want to work with your body at the speed of trust, right? Your body is intelligent, and pain decreases the muscle activation in order to prevent damage to the joint. High amounts of slow and light, gentle repetitions is how you would help improve that. So doing things that like regressing the range of motion or reducing the amount of load. This is going to be very helpful for actually healing, because movement is life, circulation heals, and being able to get some pain-free movement and blood flow maintains the neural connections and decreases the need for chronic pain signals by restoring ability and confidence to the area. So working with your body at the speed of trust. Scaling back if needed is the key here. Movement is great, but you never really want to make things worse if you're just trying to push through pain, right? So principle number 2 is regressing to progress, or scaling ability. Regression shouldn't be considered weakness. It's wisdom, it's precision, it's your bridge between limitation and progress. You want to learn to love it, because this is what's going to carry you forward. We'll scale the exercises to find pain-free versions so you can build real strength and mobility without fear or setbacks. So mastering these regressions is the key to, maintaining good form is the key to mastering these regressions, because a regression is always going to be an easier, gentler version of the same movement. So here's where I started on the ATG split squat. As you see, my hip flexors were tight. My knee couldn't handle the load. I was even with the regression, I was still hinging slightly forward. And as you see, the regression here is elevating that front foot. Some people may need to start by holding on to the box here as well, or the wall for balance. This is very useful, and as you see here, this is a more recent picture where I'm actually adding load in this one, and you can see the hip flexors are much less tight. I'm getting full knee flexion here as well. This is an example in the seated good morning, another key movement. The ATG split squat here and the seated good morning, 2 key movements for improving overall lower body mobility. So in this one, you see one of my clients, he actually had a herniated disc in L5, L4 before we started training together, and he was still experiencing some back pain. He had a lot of tightness, very poor mobility, and he was a business owner, ended up working a lot, and he wasn't doing much of the things that reverse those things. So this exercise was very helpful for him. But here he was regressing the range of motion. He's at about 30 degrees on this incline bench, and he's starting with a load that he was able to tolerate. So this is about 65 pounds. Here he is doing this on a flat bench, was able to improve the range of motion and the strength in this, mostly because we never worked through pain in this exercise. We always found a level that he could do without pain with good form. So good form on this one is keeping your back straight. As you see, both of them are good form. He is just doing an easier, gentler version of that same movement here. So this allows you to keep making progress, and it allows you to break plateaus without getting stuck. So regress to progress, because then you're going to get faster progress. So we really want to, it's almost like taking 1 step back to take 3 steps forward. So the analogy that I like to use here is an arrow being pulled back, right? It has to be pulled back before it can fly forward. So this is going to help you unlock gains faster than you've probably ever done before. You just have to be a little bit patient and go with it. So principle number 3, the first 2 are kind of like those guidelines that allow us to really embody principle number 3, which is the maximum intent principle. So this is a performance program disguised as a mobility training, right? We don't do fluff here. We train like athletes strategically and intentionally, and a lot of the times the rehab should seem like the training as well because you're going to keep progressing a lot of these movements. Each rep should have meaning. Don't just go through your workouts, own every movement. So this is a mindset shift as well, because it keeps you from being like having this victim mentality, because you're not fragile, you're not finished, and you're not defined by the pain you feel today. You're someone reclaiming your edge one strategic session at a time. Every movement is a vote for the version of you who trains, plays, and lives fully again. So as long as you're not pushing through pain, you can push yourself, and the more you're going to adapt and improve as you push yourself more, right? Your goal should be to make every exercise as hard as possible within the regression that you can do well, and squeeze as much out of each session as you can. So how you complete the program is as important, if not more important, than the actual program itself. Always want to prioritize that intent over just getting the reps done. And I mean, I'm here to support you as much as possible, but you're by yourself in the gym, so you want to make each session count. You'll get feedback on your form videos, access to our private chat, Never Fit, and real-time support. But this is a collaboration. You're not doing this alone. I've got your back. You have to put in the work. This is going to be as hard mentally as much physically. I'm sure it's already been hard for you. You've had your dark days. There are going to be days where you just don't feel that good in the gym. There's going to be roller coasters days. There's going to be ups and downs. That's part of the process. So my task for you is for you to be prepared to do the work, be prepared to show up consistently. And if you do that, if you stay within these constraints, you're going to be very, very successful. If you can show up with that attitude and be that attitude of like, I'm the one that's in control, I'm the one that has that opportunity to build back and to build back better than we were before, then this can be one of the most transformational periods in your life. So I'm really excited for you, really excited to get that rolling. I just want you to know that you can be what you will to be. You control your destiny. You're in control of your own recovery, right? The more you work, the more you push, the more your muscles feels like you want to explode, then the stronger you're going to get, the faster you're going to get, the more flexible you're going to get. And this completely flips the script. Instead of you being a victim, you are the one who's in control of your destiny. So, yeah, I'm excited to get you rolling. I hope that you are too. We'll be in touch soon. Until then, let's go.